Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Man, I really hope you guys got that reference, otherwise that sounds so stupid. Um, for this week's assignment, we are going to be doing something um, that does not require any reading or any writing. So some of you will be happy about that. But what it does require is for you to record yourself. So a lot of you will be really sad about that, but we got to do what we got to do because we can't see each other in person. So we have to make things work and do things a little bit differently sometimes. So for this assignment, you are going to record yourself telling a story. This is a folklore story. So if you did the assignment that was posted last week, you've already watched my video talking about what folklore is and what that means and some of the different types of folklore. So now this week you're going to pick one of those types of folklore that we talked about. And the assignment last week actually asked you to tell me a piece of folklore. If you want to take that one, you can, but you just have to tell it as a full story now. So you're going to take a piece of folklore, and you're going to tell the story. You're going to record it, and it should be at least a minute and 30 seconds. If you're not taking a minute and 30 seconds to do this, then you're not really telling a story. You're being too brief. And I need to make sure that you're actually really developing it and telling it as a story, not just recording yourself saying, I know that TikTok dances are a form of folklore. Done. Okay, that's not what I'm asking you for. I'm asking you to actually fully tell the story. So if you decide you want to spend 1 minute and 30 seconds recapping your favorite memes for me, sure, go ahead, do that. But you better be taking a full minute and 30 seconds and actually telling it as a story, not just recapping it in 10 seconds or whatever. So reminder, some of the different types of folklore that you can choose from. You could do media folklore, which are things that are prevalent on different platforms of media. So memes, TikTok dances, vines, things that are prevalent that you share or like on social media. You can do any kind of love folklore. So if you want to tell your first kiss story, if you want to tell like the worst date you've ever been on or the best date you've ever been on, you could tell those kind of stories. You could tell a scary story. So something that was really creepy or freaky or like supernatural that happened to you or happened to a friend or a family member, you could do that. Or if you've like heard this amazing story before and you want to just take a minute to tell the story, to retell that story on camera, you could do that. That'd be super awesome. That's my favorite category. So kudos to the people who choose a scary story to tell. You could do an inside joke, which most, if not all of you, have stories that are inside jokes. So that would be a great one to pick. You could tell about a different tradition that you or your friends or family partake in, or like different rites of passage, which is like having like a sweet 16 when you turn 16 years old, or a quinceañera when you turn 15. Different rites of passage that you do at different times in your life. You can choose, if any of you do have a job that you've been working on, you can do a work folklore, which are words or phrases that are used in the workplace that you wouldn't understand if you weren't one of the workers. And you can do childhood folklore, which is like some of the things that you learn as a child, like Down by the Banks, that nursery rhyme that people do. So I'm going to give you an example of what this would look like. I'm going to tell my first kiss story, and I'm going to do it in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds or more. So here it goes, starting now. So my first kiss happened when I was in 8th grade. So I was about 13 years old, and it was this boy, Devin Anderson, who I was in love with. I was totally crazy about him, and I had had a crush on him for like 6 months or something like that. and we started dating. He was an older man. He was in 9th grade when I was in 8th grade, but that was back when 9th graders were still at the junior high, so we did go to school together at Brock Bank, but he was in 9th grade and I was in 8th grade. And we had been dating for 11 days, so it was a long-term relationship right there. We started dating, we were dating for 11 days, and I had never had a kiss before, but he had. He was a little more experienced, a little older than me. And he walked me home from school one day. I didn't live super far away from Brock Bank. I lived probably it was probably like a 7-minute walk home. And he walked me home from school. We had already walked home from school one time before that, because we had been friends for so long. So we'd already walked home before. He had already seen my house before, but only once, and it was very briefly, so he was a little unfamiliar with it. And when we got to my street and we started walking down my street, I went to go tell him which house was mine, and he was like, no, wait, no, don't tell me. I've got this. I'll tell you when it's your house. I was like, all right, are you sure you remember which one's mine? And he was like, yeah, I've got it. I remember which one is yours. So we're walking down the street and I see my house coming up, but I'm not telling him because he says he's got it. And he keeps walking and he's so confidently walking and he walks right past my house. And I just don't say anything because I'm like, all right. And we get past my house and we go past my trailer. And I was like, so Devin, and he was like, yeah, I know, I already passed your house. I was like, okay, if you know, why are we still walking then? And he stopped and he goes, because I wanted to do this. And he grabs me and he kisses me, and it was behind my trailer so that my parents wouldn't see if my parents walked outside. And he kissed me. It was a very, very short kiss, but I turned fire truck red. Some of you have already seen me turn red in class before when I get hot or when I get frustrated with y'all loud classes. So I was so red. I turned fire truck red. It was so embarrassing because I was blushing super bad and I didn't want him to see that. So after the kiss, I just was like, okay, bye. And I turned and walked away really, really fast and went inside the house. And I was really excited. I couldn't stop smiling the whole day. I was smiling. But I stopped that night because he broke up with me that night over text. So it was really sad. We're friends to this day and I still give him crap for it. I was like, remember that one time you kissed me and then you broke up with me that night? He feels bad about it, but I was 13, so it's fine. I forgive him now. So that is an example of telling it as a story. Notice I didn't just say, I had my first kiss when I was in 8th grade. That's not a story. Tell the story of how it happened. You don't have to do the first kiss story. I don't need to hear about all of you guys kissing people. But if you want to use that story, you can. Or you can use any of those other forms of folklore that we talked about, that you heard a little bit about. Again, if you want to take the story that you already told me about and just develop that further, you can. But you don't have to. You can pick something new if you want to. Let me know if you have any questions. You're recording this. You can use a phone if you want to. You're recording this and then you're just going to turn it into Google Classroom. So if you want to upload it to YouTube and share the link with me, if you want to put it on your drive and then share the file from your drive, you can do that. If you want to record it on a Chromebook instead so that it's already a file on there, you can do that. Whatever is the best way to do this. The way I personally chose to do it is upload it to YouTube from my phone so that I could share it as a link. So if you want to do that, you can. You can make the YouTube videos private so that you have to have a link to see it if you don't want to upload it for the whole world to be able to listen to. That's great. Or again, you can just upload it straight to your drive and share it from your drive instead. So let me know if you have questions, comments, or concerns as you're doing this assignment. I'm super excited to get to hear all of your different stories. And that is it for me. See you guys.